Hello everyone. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for calling off the wedding after my fiancé gave his ex closure without telling me? I, 28F, have been with my fiancé, Tom, 30M, for 3 years. He and his ex, Sarah, were together for 6 years before we met, and she's been a shadow hanging over us the entire time. At first, I understood. They shared a lot of history and breakups can be tough, but we're supposed to be each other's future now. We're planning our wedding, building a life, and I thought he was done with the past. A month ago, Tom got a random message from Sarah asking for closure. He didn't tell me about it, and instead of ignoring it or at least discussing it with me, he responded and met up with her. I found out when I saw a message on his phone that said, "Thanks for last night." My heart dropped. When I confronted him, he swore nothing physical happened, saying he stayed over until early morning just talking. I didn't believe him, and what's worse, he got defensive, calling me insecure for feeling betrayed. He says Sarah deserved closure and that I should understand since he's with me now. The more we talked, the more I realized he doesn't think he did anything wrong. I tried to explain how hurtful it was that he hid this, especially when he didn't need to, but he made me feel like I was the problem for being jealous of a friendship. But here's the kicker, Tom then had the audacity to tell me that this needed to happen so he could truly move on. He even suggested Sarah should come to the wedding as a friend to show everyone there's no bad blood. I was stunned. How could he think it's appropriate to invite his ex to our wedding, someone he apparently still feels the need to support? I've since called off the wedding, saying I need time to think, but my family and friends are split. Half say I should be able to trust him if he says nothing happened, and others think I'm totally justified. Meanwhile, Tom's been telling our friends that I'm controlling and making a big deal out of nothing, and now I'm second-guessing myself. Am I the bad person for putting my foot down, or am I overreacting to something that really was innocent? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for moving on so quickly after my husband left me? My 47F husband, 47M, asked for a separation on our 14th anniversary while we were away in a foreign country to celebrate. While we weren't as close as we used to be, we almost never fought and generally enjoyed each other's company and families. We do not have any children. The night before our anniversary, he brought up he wasn't very happy in the relationship but didn't know why. The next morning, I asked to see his phone and he said no. He said I would find flirty messages with one or more other women on it. He had made some female friends through school and work and he said felt like there might be someone out there who was a better fit for him. I said I did not want to do a trial separation as I don't believe you can work on something if you aren't living together. If you wanted to separate, it would be final. He understood but said it was something he had to do. After being away for only 2 days, we rebooked our flights home, flew home, and he packed some belongings and left. 7 days later he asked to come home and we started marriage counseling. He had a lot of trouble admitting he had at least one emotional affair. The counseling was not helpful, he was defensive and not open to it. I suspect something physical happened with the other woman, but I do not have any proof. He had deleted all his flirty texts, Snapchat, etc. So I could not see them. After 4 weeks of living together again and attending counseling sessions, he decided he no longer wanted to try to save the marriage and he was leaving. He packed up and left a few hours later. He stayed with a friend, found a new apartment and signed a 1-year lease. I was devastated and even had to take time off work to process what had happened and attend individual counseling. After 4 weeks, I started to feel a bit better. I went out for drinks with a group of 4 coworkers that live in my area and found I really enjoyed one of them, 42M, a lot. I had only met him over Zoom before this. We started seeing each other a couple times a week. Quite quickly it grew into a truly amazing, loving relationship. I've stayed in counseling throughout as it wasn't easy to process the sudden ending of my long-term marriage at the same time as beginning something new. It's been about 7 months now. My ex-husband eventually decided he wanted to try to save the marriage again, but I declined. He says I'm TA for starting a new relationship so quickly, within 6 weeks of him leaving. Our relationship was over as I can no longer trust him, and he has hurt me immensely. I do not want a relationship with someone I cannot trust. Am I the bad person for moving on? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for not wanting to share my lottery win with my siblings, and now my family is furious with me? So, I, 34F, won the lottery a few months back. It was honestly the most shocking thing that's ever happened to me. One minute I'm picking up milk and bread at the store, and on a whim I just thought, why not, and got a lottery ticket. I didn't expect anything to come from it. I don't even play regularly. But somehow, I hit a decent jackpot. Not like hundreds of millions, but enough to really make a difference, you know? Anyway, I was ecstatic. First thing I did was call my mom. She was excited at first, but then like a minute later, she starts saying, "So, are you going to share it with the family?" Like, before I'd even processed the news myself. Some context here. I've got 2 siblings. My brother and sister have always kind of been, how do I put it, distant. When I had my son, he's autistic and needs a lot of support. It was pretty much just me on my own. They didn't offer help, didn't check in much, and it hurt, honestly. I love them, but I've had to go through so much alone. My mom, too, she was supportive in her way, but she was never really there in the ways I needed her. So, I was really surprised when she asked about sharing the winnings right away. And, to be real, my gut reaction was kind of, no. Where was this family takes care of family idea when I was struggling? I told her I wasn't planning on sharing the money, that I wanted to use it to secure my son's future, pay off debts, and just finally breathe a little. But after I said it, she got really quiet, then goes, "Well, that's really disappointing." That hit hard. Since then, my siblings have been calling me selfish and saying I've let money go to my head, and even my mom has hinted that I'm being greedy. She actually told me that my son needs a strong family around him and that I'm ruining that with my attitude. I feel awful now, second-guessing myself. Like, maybe I'm being too harsh. But I also can't ignore that they weren't there when I needed them. And it's not like I'm blowing the money. I'm planning on setting it up so that my son's cared for, because he might always need extra help, and honestly, it's always just been us. So, am I the bad person for wanting to keep the winnings for me and my son's future instead of handing it out to my family who never really helped us? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section, and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for telling my boss that I wasn't invited to the party? I, 26F, just started at a new job. I quickly realized that one of my colleagues, Marie, is engaged and is getting married within the next 2 months. It seemed like the whole office was attending the wedding. I absolutely did not expect an invite. She just met me, weddings are planned in advance, venues booked, etc. My friend actually just got married, so I saw firsthand how it all worked. I could tell Marie wondered if I was expecting an invitation and was hesitant to bring up the wedding around me, but I just never made it a big deal. I don't feel left out in the slightest. Then, I got CC'd on an email from someone at the office, Joan, throwing Marie a shower during our lunch hour in the break room in a couple of weeks. Joan was sending out a collection so we could give a group gift, cash, to Marie. They also suggested we make it a potluck. Joan included her Venmo and also asked we email back with what we planned on bringing. Even if I'm not going to the wedding, I still believe everyone deserves to be celebrated, and Venmo'd the $20, as well as sent a reply saying I'd bring lasagna. A little later, I saw the $20 had been returned to my Venmo, and Joan approached my desk. She said I didn't need to contribute. I said even if I'm not attending the wedding, I'd still like to give Marie a little something. Joan looked a little awkward and hemmed and hawed, but then eventually said, "You're not invited to the shower." I was confused. I said, "I can't go in the company break room on lunch hour?" She said yes. I asked, "Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't drive, I take public transit to from work. We don't really work near anywhere I could go to quickly for our lunch hour." She said I could stay at my desk. I pointed out this was a little exclusionary. Joan said Marie didn't want me to assume I was invited to the wedding. I said I don't at all. I completely understand I haven't worked here long and we're not close enough. I'm not hurt by that. She said that's great, but I still can't come. I asked if I had done anything to offend Marie, and she said no. She just doesn't want me getting my hopes up. I finally let it go and just said fine, have a good party. The day of the shower, I sat at my desk during the party while everyone else went, eating my lunch alone. One kind person snuck me a piece of cake. Halfway through the party, the big boss came in. She usually doesn't work on Fridays, so it was a surprise to see her. She saw me sitting at my desk and asked why I wasn't at the party. I told her I hadn't been invited. She was clearly perturbed by this. Later on, she sent an email out banning parties of any kind during work hours. A few people, Joan and Marie included, realize I'm the one who told. They've now turned on me. Some friends say I'm in the wrong here and that I should have lied to the big boss and said I was busy with work to finish or something, so as not to ruin it for everyone else. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.